Honourable Annette King.
Mr Chairman, I think it's obvious that the parties on this side of the House believe there is a problem with the lack of affordable housing. But I'm unsure as to whether the government believes there is a lack of affordable housing, because what we've had today is a whole lot of conflicting statements and contradiction in terms. We've actually had it for the last 5 years, because we were told year in, year out, we didn't have a housing problem. And then when the Labor Party came out with a very popular housing policy, and more to come, but when we came out with it, suddenly the poor old Minister of Housing, Phil Heatley, got the heave-ho, and when they brought in the new Minister of Housing with a flurry of activity and bills that are going to fix the problem. Only they don't. But what I can't get to the bottom of is what the Minister is saying when he says you can't set the price of affordable home. But then we know in their announcements and things that they have said about Hobsonville, they are telling New Zealanders that they are building affordable homes, and then they set the price between $400,000 and $480,000 for around a 60 square metre box. And so, on one hand, they say you can't set the price for an affordable home, and then they tell people, yes, yes, we are building affordable homes at Hobsonville. This is the price of them. So what is it, Minister? Can you say what an affordable home is? Can you say you can set it? Because that's exactly what the government is doing with their so-called affordable homes at Hobsonville, is to tell us that that is and set the price of those affordable homes. So, Mr Speaker, the Minister also said, the cost of land. It's over $300,000 for a section in Auckland. What is the cost of the land for the affordable houses at Hobsonville? What is the cost of each of those sections? Because if the Minister was being upfront with this House, he would tell this House, as we learnt from the Select Committee, that the land at Hobsonville for the so-called affordable homes is being subsidised. It's being subsidised from the unaffordable homes that most New Zealanders cannot buy. So if it's possible to have cheaper land prices subsidised, even though it's hidden by this government, then it's possible for any government to put up government land and say it's affordable, and to have prices on that land that is affordable. That is the truth. But that's not what we're hearing from this government about Hobsonville. This bill, Minister, does not provide a direct way of providing affordable houses. The Minister stood up and said, oh yes it does, there's an order in council. What is the order what will that order in council say? Tell this House tonight, tell New Zealanders who are listening, what is the wording of that order in council? You see, the sneaky thing to do is to put in legislation that you're going to have an order in council to achieve something everybody says we need. And the poor people of South Auckland that you heard about from Sir William CO said, we can't afford houses at the moment, but we're hoping we can. And the Minister said, yes, yes, there will be affordable housing. I'm going to have an order in council in this bill. So tell the people, what will the wording of that be? How will it be defined? What will it say? Because otherwise it is hot air and false promises. Stick in an order of council, doesn't have a date, don't know when it'll be done, this year, next year, 10 years, never. You see, it is just a ploy, an underhand ploy, because that Minister knows there is a real concern about affordable housing in New Zealand. Be upfront, Minister. Get to your feet and tell us what that order in council will say, when it will be brought in, how long will it be in place for, and how many affordable houses will be arising from your order in council that you told us about today? Because the Minister did not answer one of those questions. You see, I find this whole bill rather shonky, because I've always been a strong believer in regulatory impact statements. We saw the regulatory impact statement that came out of the last bill the Minister had when he was Minister of Local Government. It was the most appalling regulatory impact statement I had seen, because it challenged all the assumptions the minister had made about local government. There's only been one worse, and that was the redacted one that went for those parents who are trying to look after disabled adults, where they actually took out most of the information. But look at the Mr. Chairman. But let's look at the regulatory impact statement on this minister's bill. And I read it and I thought, wow, the minister hasn't mentioned this. Insufficient information on land supply restrictions across local authorities to allow precise views to be formed on the urgency of the problem or the extent to which land supply is a problem outside of Auckland. Insufficient information. Insufficient information on the specific detail and operation of each of the options that were put up to allow a more precise analysis of how each option might impact on the behaviours of commercial decisions of landowners and property developers. Well, in my last contribution, I said to the minister, how is he going to make private landowners and property developers give up their land at an affordable price for houses to be built on it right now because of this bill? They're the ones that have land banked their land waiting for a good deal when it's the right time to put it on the market. Well, his own regulatory impact statement says there's insufficient information on the specific detail and operation for each option to allow precise analysis of how each option might impact on the behaviour. So if the minister knows something more than those from the Housing Affordability Program, Ministry of Business and Innovation and Employment, he should get to his feet and tell us why this regulatory impact statement, where they said they never got sufficient information, is wrong. He did it on the local government one, of course, and then was shot down in flames by the New Zealand Institute of Economic Research that came out and showed all his assumptions were based on false assumptions and made an absolute fool of himself. It also said the development of the option under budget secrecy rules, which has meant that the options have not been consulted with stakeholders and affected parties outside of government. That, Minister, is from your own regulatory impact statement. When you put your bill together, you put it together before he spoke to the Auckland Council, and he had it set in place in his mind before he ever went to talk to them. And so they actually didn't really get a fair go at all, and that's why they came to the Select Committee and why they said they could not see anything in this bill that was going to make housing affordable. That's why they were worried that it wasn't going to do what the minister said. So, Minister, there's some questions that I believe you must answer this House tonight. And I do give you credit for sitting in no, he's saying he won't answer them. Did you see that? He said no, he won't answer them. I give him credit for sitting in the chair, which is more than some of his colleagues do. But tell us about the order in council, Minister. Don't sit there smiling like a crocodile. Tell the people what will be. Yes, what will be in the order in council. When will it be introduced? How long will it be in place? Come on, Minister, that is your responsibility, because this is the only chance this Parliament has to debate these issues and for the public of New Zealand to know the ploy that's being pulled off.
The time has come for me to leave the chair. This debate is interrupted. I shall resume the chair at 7:30.